that he has been in Kenya for over a month for medical treatment before his adoption. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you are highly welcome. My name is Chidima. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing all the controversies surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's arrest. So before we continue, please guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel, like my videos, give my videos some thumbs up. Don't watch and walk away. On the bell notification icon so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be the first to be notified. So it is now no news. It is no more news. You know, it's no more news that Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. The news shook the internet and the whole world stood standstill, if I may say. And the question in everybody's mouth was how? Who arrested him? How come and where? So before you know it, people like us who are hoping for the restoration of Biafra and saw Nnamdi Kanu as a messiah said it was a lie because we didn't want to believe it. While other people were jubilating. Some people were jubilating. Northerners were happy. Fulanis were jubilating. They were celebrating. Even my Igbo people, some of them, they were happy. They were happy, jubilating, celebrating the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. As if Nnamdi Kanu is the problem of Nigeria. As if Nnamdi Kanu is the problem of Nigeria. Arresting Nnamdi Kanu, as if arresting Nnamdi Kanu is the arresting of the problems of Nigeria. Honestly, I have been reluctant. I've been reluctant to make any video concerning the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu because there were a lot of controversies and lies, speculations surrounding it. But after the interview you are going to watch at the end of this video, it will now be cleared to you what Nnamdi Kanu was doing in Kenya, why he traveled in Kenya, and how he was adopted. Meanwhile, some people said UK arrested him and handed him over to Nigeria. Some people said no, he was extradited. Some other people said no, he was arrested in Ethiopia, while other people are saying he was arrested in Prague. You know, I watched one particular video where a man said that if you see how he was saying it as if he has evidences, he said if you watch the picture where Nnamdi Kanu was in handcuff, that the security agencies that were standing behind him beside him, that the security agency's uniform is the security agency uniform of the people of Prague. Prague is in Czech Republic. That he said Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Prague, where he was doing where he was transiting from Switzerland to UK. He was coming from Switzerland and was transiting at the airport, so he was arrested. So a lot of things, a lot of lies, a lot of controversies were coming up and down every day. A lot of things were coming out. After everything, we heard that he was arrested in Kenya, and people were asking, in Kenya, what is he doing? After everything, it was confirmed that Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya. But do you know what happened? Boom. The Kenyan government came out immediately and denied it. They said it was not in Kenya. They don't know about it. They did not even see Nnamdi Kanu at all. That Nnamdi Kanu did not even cross their end. So it was not in Kenya. They don't know anything about it. Their hand is not there. Their leg is not there. Everything about them is not there. They are not aware. That finally, when there was a confirmed evidences that Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya, so another phase of lies followed the information. People were asking, well, what was he doing in Kenya? So before you know what is happening, people said, yeah, he went for a meeting, that he went for a meeting. After the meeting, now he was going back, and the process, the people that he went, that invited him for the meeting, now now pointed at him, and they arrested him at the airport when he was going back. Before you know what is happening, people now said he went there for cash donation, that he was lured into Kenya with cash donation. That a group of people, Nigerians planned, and a group of people now told him that they want to donate for Biafra. They want to make some donations, a huge amount of donations for Biafra, and he went there. On the process, they now arrested him. So people were saying, why would he go there alone? Why would he go there? And people said yes, because he was greedy. That was why he went there to collect the money himself, because they said the money was too much, this and that. So in my mind, I was like asking, why would Nnamdi Kanu go to take money in this era, in this 21st century? You can remit money to any part of the world within few seconds like this. The money has reached. So people were saying that he was so greedy. Why would he go alone? Why didn't he send somebody? This and that. I was like, the way people were talking as if the money is just what you can. So a lot of things were coming up. So before you know what is happening, they now said yes, it was a woman that lured him to Kenya. He looked for a woman, they used a woman to lure him into Kenya. Then from there, I was like, what is all this? Nnamdi Kanu is a married man. He is a family man. And do you think that with this state of with this level of his agitation, and with the level of wanted, as in the way, with the level of his status right now, do you think that Nnamdi Kanu will just fall for any woman? So Nnamdi Kanu will, because of a woman, he will left to UK and start going to Kenya. A woman that is not his wife. Nnamdi Kanu that does not have a problem, that doesn't have any problem with his wife. He didn't divorce his wife. He's not having issues with his wife. So he will leave UK and travel down to Kenya because of a woman. Do you think this is true? So as all these things were coming out like this in internet, I was like, people are so terrible. Somebody will just sleep like this and wake up and write something. People will be reading it. For the fact that people does not know what happened, just that it is already confirmed that Nnamdi Kanu is arrested. So they decided to coin stories so that people, because they know that people can buy it. They know that people will read it. So what is happening? They say he's wearing designer shoes. He's wearing designer clothes. See, let me tell you, Nnamdi Kanu is loved by many people. The people that loved him are more than the people that hate him. These designer clothes or whatever that you people saw him wear, don't be surprised that it was gifted to him. The news of his wearing designer clothes was all over, as if it is a crime to wear a designer clothes. Is it now an offense? Nigerian government made a statement how they arrested him. One of their major concern was that he was wearing a designer's clothes, as if wearing a designer clothes is now an offense. So the question of what was he doing in Kenya was answered in this interview. I am going to show you now. This interview by his legal counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimako. He said Nnamdi Kanu has been in Kenya for over a month for medical treatment before he was adopted. So guys, watch.
Thank you for your time with us today.
It's my pleasure having you.
Make I just start by asking this question. You don't see Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes. First of all, for the benefit of the viewers, what I'm about to say will be best expressed in English than Pidgin, so I must apologize for that, because legal terms will be occurring here a lot today. Yes, I met him yesterday for almost 3 hours at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja, and we had quite an interaction, private interaction initially, and later on he was interviewed by 3 DSS officers in my presence. I wanted to call it an interrogation, but they said no, it's an interview, during which they asked him routine questions, but most of the questions centered on his being the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the activities of that organization. So he answered the questions in a relaxed atmosphere, with bearing in mind his constitutional rights not to incriminate himself. Of course, some of the questions had background information that he considered incomplete, and he told the officers that he was not able to answer some of those questions because the information that they supplied to him was incomplete. So the interview went without incident, and at some point it was brought to a close. I think maybe there's going to be another interview to be scheduled, but I have not been informed of that yet.
And you go there in that other interview, you go there with your client, Nnamdi Kanu, for those other interviews will go happen after today?
Will you go?
You go there with your client?
Yes, I go there with her. Normally, his right to counsel has attached. So any further interview, whether it's called interview or interrogation, any interaction on the matter as to what he did or what he didn't do or the allegations can never occur without presence of counsel. If he does, he'll be tainted and he'll be inadmissible in court. Okay,
so before we talk more about this, you talk, say, aside from the interview your client Nnamdi Kanu gets with the DSS officers, you also get private interaction with him. Yes. Before we go into details on that, in as much as you can share with us, you feel describe to us when you see Nnamdi Kanu, how he be, what's in in state of mind?
Well, his state of mind wasn't as sound as it should be. You know, if you listen to his broadcast, you would know that he's a historian. But when I was talking with him, he had trouble recalling the actual date he was abducted. It surprised me. So to jog his memory, I asked him how many nights he spent in Abuja before he was brought to court. He told me 2 nights. So he was brought to court on Tuesday, the 29th June. So we figured he must have been brought into the country on Sunday, the 27th. So when I mentioned that date, he said, sure, that's the date. But I took particular note of that. I also noticed that he had a visible injury on his right wrist. I asked him what it was. He said it was where they had chained him, put the chain on him, and chained him to the concrete floor in Nairobi, Kenya. And he has disappearing injury on the left wrist and an injury right here at the nape of the neck. So he related to me. I asked him what happened, and what happened, much of it is now public knowledge. So what I'm doing is by way of adumbration, supplying more information.
If you tell us more about what's happened, because you talk about, you just mentioned Kenya, and Kenyan government don't come out to talk, say, they no arrest Nnamdi Kanu for Kenya. So tell us more about
this. What happened is this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu entered Kenya, I believe, on a certain date, right around April this year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to establish the actual date of entry. But I have documentation from a Kenyan hospital that placed him in Kenya as of 14th April this year, 14th May. So he entered Kenya.
And what did they do for Kenya hospital?
He went there because he had issues with his heart. He felt he wasn't well. So he went there, he was examined, and the diagnosis was hypertension and heart murmur. They made prescriptions for him, and my examination of the medical report indicated medications for heart and controlling blood pressure. So apparently he entered Kenya before the 14th May this year. So he had settled in at a location in Nairobi, a temporary location, and he entered with his passport. The biographic page of his passport was made available to me as of counsel, and the page bearing the stamp, the immigration stamp that admitted him to Kenya, was also made available to me. So I had irrebuttable evidence, independent of what he was going to tell me, that placed him in Kenya before the extraordinary rendition. So when that day, on the fateful day, that was on the, I believe on the 19th, yes, not believe, certain, 100%, he drove himself to the airport from his temporary location in Kenya. He drove to Jomo Kenyatta International and went into the garage, the underground garage, to pick up a visitor flying in from outside. Okay, that is not necessary for this discussion, the identity or whatever. So the moment he got into the parking lot, the garage, a group of several men, well armed to the teeth.
And this now waiting Nnamdi Kanu tell you about waiting you remember of waiting happen before they bring him to Nigeria.
This is what he told me, and his recollection of this was very, very lucid and clear.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so now they swooped on him. They gathered and grabbed him, okay, in a very physical, rough way, and he raised the lamb. Luckily for him, there were a few people that were there, and the people wanted to intervene in terms of really very aggressive intervention, because to them, I asked him why they would consider making an aggressive intervention when something that seemed law enforcement was happening. He said perhaps they didn't believe it was normal. So the people that were abducting him told everybody to stay clear, that this person you're looking at is a Nigerian terrorist who assists the Al-Shabaab terrorists in Kenya. And apparently most of the people that wanted to intervene, the Good Samaritans, are Kenyans. And you know, Al-Shabaab has quite an extensive operation in Kenya, just like we have the Boko Haram here. So perhaps there's this emotional thing about it that they shouldn't be saving anybody that is linked to Al-Shabaab. He said in that moment of indecision and maybe reluctance to further intervene, they grabbed him, put him in their car, and left, and took him to a private residence, not an official detention facility, where they chained him to the floor for most of the 8 days he spent there, and they really tortured him, thinking he was Al-Shabaab. So he kept telling them he wasn't Al-Shabaab. He had nothing to do with Al-Shabaab. He kept telling them who he was.
Who be these people?
Well, I asked him who they are. He told me they are Kenyan security officials. I asked him why. He said the insignia, the carriage, that he had arrived Kenya, so he had a bit knowledge of the terrain and how the law enforcement functions and the sort of things they wear, how, you know, that they were brazen with weapons openly. It couldn't have been private parties or, you know, some rogue agents doing that. He told me that the thing has a 100% degree of officialdom to it. So they took him to that location and they were torturing him, and I'm sorry to say they really beat him a lot. So, but at some point when he was trying to explain himself, he told me he was blindfolded most of the time, chained to the floor, bare floor. And he told me that it looks like one of them decided to be a little bit intellectual about the whole thing and went out and maybe got some information, came back and said, hey, listen, he's not what we think he is. They lied to us. And that was when they disclosed to him that, listen, the real purpose of grabbing you was at the behest of the Nigerian government. Nigerian government hired us to grab you, to abduct you with that information that you are linked to Al-Shabaab. He said, okay, you gotta let me go. He said, no. We are committed already. We have to hand it over.
But the Kenyan government don't clearly talk, say they don't get hand for this, and they not arrest Nnamdi Kanu for the ground. And also the federal government never come out to talk anything about where your client, where they arrest your client from.
Okay. Anyway, I have, you see, it's not going to be a question of he said, she said. I'm a lawyer. I operate on the basis of independent and credible evidence. The Kenyan High Commissioner might have sounded credible to the general public, but the information available to me can impeach every single word she uttered, including the word, the denial that came from the home government. I have immigration stamp placing Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya just 2 months before his abduction. I have medical evidence placing him at a Kenyan hospital. Okay? And I have his own word. He's a man of sound mind. Then, fourthly, after the Guardian newspaper UK broke the news that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's British passport was still in Kenya, the following day, Kenyan authorities raided that very location for the first time, from where he took off to the airport. So he connect the dots.
And what's in your client, Nnamdi, can you tell you about how they move him from Kenya, as you talk, say tell you, to Nigeria?
Him. Yes. You see, he said on the fateful day, that was the 27th on Sunday, 27th June, they drove him in a car to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, blindfolded him, and bundled him inside a private jet, like a Learjet. I asked him if it's a Boeing 777, so whatever, or Airbus, the big ships. He said, no, it's a normal private jet that you often would see some people owning private jet, that kind of size. And he was the lone passenger in that jet, in that plane, and he didn't clear immigration. They drove him straight, on the tarmac, straight to the plane, and very close to the plane, and put him inside the plane with Nigerian security officials, and left about 12 noon in the afternoon, and landed Nigeria same day in the evening, around something after 4 or to 5.
You talk about the fact, say, you don't see your client. You talk about his physical and mental state. Tell us more about his mental state. You talk, say, it seemed to be like, say, he seemed to forget things.
No, that's not what I mean. What I meant is this, that he appears like somebody who has been mentally traumatized. So he's unwilling to talk about one or two things until you prompt him. Like when I prompted him about the date, that's the conclusion I drew. How many nights he spent in Abuja.
Is he afraid?
No, he's not. He's traumatized. He has trauma. He has mental trauma and physical trauma. And the trauma continues because the first night he spent in Nigeria, he told me, in that one he did in the presence of DSS officers, when they asked him if he has concerns, certain concerns, he said yes. The first night he was brought to the facility, they put him in a room with a small old mattress and left a very bright light on throughout the night. So he had sleep deprivation of the extreme order. It was the following day, perhaps, maybe someone decided it shouldn't be this way. So they put him in a better place. So the trauma continues in terms of his being held incommunicado. He's not allowed to have contact, like you will expect of a detention facility, except with his visitors. And up to this moment, his visitors have only been lawyers.
So how long it take for them to allow you and your other lawyers?
Well, I've been trying to see him since Friday. I thought I was going to succeed on Tuesday. I didn't. So eventually I succeeded yesterday. So when I raised a bit of mild objection, the officer told me that it was a matter of inconvenience for them.
No contact with family members?
Not yet. I made requests for that yesterday.
Make we talk about the trial where go begin again on the 26th of July. Yes. How prepared Nnamdi for that trial?
Well, we are, but there's not going to be any trial. There's going to be trial within trial. What happened to Nnamdi Kanu is, by legal definition, worldwide legal definition, what is called extraordinary rendition. It's a state crime. It's a crime by the state. If a private individual abducts or violently and illegally seizes another individual, it's called kidnapping, and in some jurisdictions, it's a capital offense. When state does it, it's called extraordinary rendition. That's what happened. So if you rendered or you renditioned a fugitive or a suspect, you have lost.
That is it, my people. You have heard it yourself, directly from his legal counsel, whom he spoke directly with, whom he narrated all his ordeal with. I believe this interview. I believe every single word that came out from this man's mouth, because this is the team of lawyers that are working for Nnamdi Kanu. So this interview has cleared a lot of, at least half of the doubt in people's mind, and has debunked and impeached every other thing that has been in the internet that is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu was in Kenya and why what he was doing. And even in this interview, there was more. Here we got clear details how he was adopted and how he was tortured. So guys, if you really want to know and hear the remaining part of this interview, you have to visit BBC Pidgin. In this video too, you will hear the type of trial Nnamdi Kanu is going to face, and the plan of IPOP and Nnamdi Kanu's team of lawyers against 26th July, when they will bring him to court. So at this point, we have come to the end of this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and on the bell notification icon, so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be the first to be notified. Guys, we will continue to bring you updates. You will see me in my next video, or I will see you in my next video, or we are going to see ourselves in my next video.